Good evening, Drew.
Sorry I was late. I was
Oh.
writing my self-reflection.
Oh, that sounds very end of the year.
Yep. And it's that
Oh,
it's that
oh,
magical time of year where
oh.
we talk about ourselves and all the things that we did good and the things we could have done better. And yeah,
Okay, okay.
we'll be having those conversations in January.
Mm,
So
okay, all
we'll
right,
see.
okay. How'd you think? How do you think you did?
Well, this was a pretty challenging year for a lot of reasons. Um, I sort of have alluded to this before, but my workload just went through the roof this year. Not to mention, not even counting all of like the special internal projects that I get pulled into because of my knowledge and skills, but just the amount of customers I directly support went up this year. And a lot of that was due to shifting account teams, and there was some attrition, and there were a lot of other factors. But the fact of the matter was is I had to pick up a lot of slack on accounts this year. And that led to, whenever I was an idiot, I raised my hand and said, "Yeah, I can help with this. Like, let's not drop the ball on these things, and we'll make it work." Narrator voice, he made it work for a little while.
Yeah.
It's just hard. It's just hard. A lot of competing priorities. And, the unfortunate thing of that is that I get a lot of meetings that conflict on my calendar. And I often have to try to shuffle them around to other open spots on my calendar, which means a more full calendar. And sometimes you can't shuffle them around and you sort of have to make hard choices and you have to prioritize people over other people. And the people who get deprioritized don't like that. And you try to explain, like, hey, I'm doing my best. And I have a podcast with that name, and I don't cost you
Right,
money, so don't yell. Like,
right,
it's
right.
fine. Like,
Ugh.
anyway, I mean, I think I did okay. I think all things considered, I did okay, and I did pick up a lot of extra non-customer facing work with my role that I was asked to do. I got a new boss this year because they did a mini reorg in the middle of the year, and I was at the time the most senior person on the team, and I think I still am. So she really relied on me a lot to help the new hires and make sure people got what they needed, and it was a lot. Now I have a lot to document. I have a lot to put on there. But, I also have some things that when I look back, I'm like, man, I really wish I would have handled that differently, or here's why I would approach that. So I have a lot to put in all of those boxes. But I think overall, I think I had a good year. I don't think I'm going to get like the dreaded meets expectations. I think there's like 5 different levels. Meets is right in the middle. I'll probably get the one right above that if I had to guess. I don't think I'm going to get top performer by any stretch because that's really hard to do. But I think I will get something above the canonical meets expectations.
Okay, all right, cool.
Now, I remember how performance reviews were when I worked with you. Have they changed much?
No, no,
No.
no, no. Very, very relaxed. Very late.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was. After going from there to Microsoft, man, oof, that was the Microsoft process will put you through the ringer.
Yeah.
But how many performance reviews do you have to write this year?
I have one, two, three, four direct reports.
Okay,
Yep. So not too bad. It's all good.
yeah, it's not bad at all. Okay, I got a lot to talk about tonight. But you have a topic I think you want to get out of the way
I just
first.
want to complain about something.
Okay.
Usernames on BlueSky are dumb.
The default usernames are dumb.
I think everything about usernames is dumb. I think even their custom domain is dumb.
Hmm.
Uh and I'll tell you why. So if you just sign up on Blue Sky and you want your handle to be poop squiggle, then you're at poopsquiggle.bsky.social. Okay, that's your default handle. That whole big long thing, and your URL is, I don't know, what is it? It's also kind of gross.
Mine?
No, just in general. Just like if you wanted to share your yeah, so it's like bsky.app/profile poopsquiggle.bsky.social. There's too many bskies in there.
That's the default.
That's the default. But if you're savvy, you can also go in and change your handle and decide that you want to link it to a domain.
Correct.
So I believe, yeah, you're so you did this, Drew, and you're just at dublindata.net.
Correct.
I did the same thing for the podcast, so it's at doingtheirbest.com, and then I also did it for my own domain, so it's like at is.no.net. I have mixed feelings about that. First of all, I think it's cool that you can do that, but I think there should be another part to it, because so many people use, quote unquote handles that don't match their domain name, right? So like everywhere I'm just at Paul Baylor, except I'm not at Paul Baylor on BlueSky if I want to claim a domain. I'm just the domain name. And I don't know. I think that was the wrong choice. I think that was the wrong choice. I think they should have done both. You have a handle and a domain. I don't know. It just feels
some people have like a subdomain in front of the domain.
Yeah, I thought about doing that. Maybe I should.
I don't know how to do that. I tried to do that. I couldn't figure it out.
You would just have to make the because so when you do it, to be a little bit nerdy, you have two options. You either have to make a DNS record or a file at a particular location. So I suppose that text record could just be at anything you wanted at your domain. And maybe I'll do that, but I don't know. I think that should be the default. I don't think you should have to worry about DNS trickery and subdomains to have the handle you want and the domain you want. I don't know. It's I've got feelings. I just don't think it's good. Like, I mean, I'm spending more time in BlueSky and I'm finding some people to follow, and I mean, at some point ads and Nazis are going to show up, and
it's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening. And I had some sort of LLM bot follow me today.
Oh, yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, I'm glad that people are leaving Twitter and going somewhere else. I still think Threads is the better platform, but that's me. That's me. But it's okay.
I can't do Threads anymore.
It's okay. Yeah. That's it. I just had to complain. I can't complain. I think it's stupid. I think whoever did that made a mistake and should feel bad about their decisions. But
I mean, that is I mean, I can't disagree with you. It'd be nice if there was a better, if it wasn't just like a domain name. Yeah. I don't know why they did that. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. It's really technical and over my head, but I will say that I am pretty happy with how I have things curated over here right now. Like, the block function on this is much better than it was on Twitter. I like the lists that people create.
Yeah, I found some of those. Yeah,
those are helpful. Those what are they called? Starter packs. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. All right, let's talk about some things that are going on in my life.
Okay, let's do it.
I already made a post about this over on Instagram.
Okay.
But I hit a really interesting milestone in my personal life.
Okay.
You are looking at a Delta SkyMiles Platinum member.
Well, congratulations.
Now, that's funny. That's funny for a whole lot of reasons. It's funny for a whole lot of reasons, not least of which is I hate flying. I hate it.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever listened to this podcast knows that I'm not a good person to fly with. You don't want to sit next to me on a plane. I have a lot of anxiety about it. There's plenty of episodes you can go back and look through or listen to on this podcast as to why. Now, what's extra interesting about this is I had to travel a lot this year for work, kind of going back to all the stuff that I had to do this year. So I ended up taking quite a few work trips. And by the by, I make a conscious decision to fly on Delta when I can. I think of all the major airlines, I think that they are the cleanest, they are the most on time. I feel like they have good equipment, aka they don't fly the Boeings that crash all the time. And I just generally like Delta. And when I'm flying somewhere, a lot of times I have to make a connection. Unless I'm flying from Columbus to either Boston, New York, Atlanta, Minneapolis, that's kind of it. Those are like every place is sort of a connection from Columbus. Now, if I fly American, I can get to Texas direct. If I'm flying on United, that opens up some interesting possibilities for me. But if I'm going like really, really far out west, unless I'm going to the Southwest, I'm probably going to have to make a connection. When I fly to Chicago, which is where I have to go to quite a bit, Southwest has a direct flight there that's an hour. So even hitting the status doesn't account for probably 3 or 4 of the other trips that I made this year where I flew on other airlines. Now, Delta, in order to achieve status on airlines, it's usually just based on how much you fly. Some of these airlines are partnered with credit cards where you can also earn points or status for using their credit card. But most of the bulk of what you earn is through flying. And Delta's was always sort of Byzantine, and you had to there were like 2 meters you had to fill up. Like you had to have MQDs and MQMs, and they meant different things. And some were money you spent on tickets, and some were miles that you flew. And like it was really easy to fill up one of the bars, but not the other. But Delta made some changes last year that basically you got less miles and credit towards what you did, but they simplified the system to like only one metric. So it was kind of a wash for me. And your status is only good for a year. So last year I hit silver, and you got to keep silver your next year in, and you started over at 0, so like you had to re-earn silver again, and then you could earn gold, and then you could earn platinum. So I was already like at the silver level or slightly above it when I started the year, and then I made it to gold, and then as of this last trip that I just got back from Dallas this week on, I hit platinum.
Fancy.
Now that's like the sub headline to this achievement. So again, I'm not a very good flyer. I don't like it. I get nervous. We've already talked about this. But one of the things that I've really tried to do this year, because I realized I had to travel more, was I stopped self-medicating.
Okay.
So again, real quick, I have a lot of anxiety about it. I was on Xanax. Then I got a new doctor. He's a giant party pooper. He won't give me good pills. So then I started self-medicating by like basically getting like a little inebriated to fly, like still very functioning, but only just to the point where it's like, wow, this plane's really bouncing around, but I feel great. And that was one way I was doing it, but that's not super healthy, constructive behavior. So I did a little bit of research on like meditation, and I talked to some people, like I guess you could call them therapists, that helped me with some breathing exercises and things to think about when I'm feeling that anxiety. And for the most part, it works. I'll close my eyes. I will slowly count backwards from 10. Everything's going to be okay. It's just some turbulence. Nobody else is freaking out but you. It's totally fine. Like these are the lies I tell myself under my breath on the plane. I have my breathing exercises. People will see me take really deep breaths, really slow exhales. Like people will see me do that. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes there are instances where the turbulence is sudden and severe, and I will grasp the seat handles. Sometimes when people's hands are already on them, which is really awkward. But, I know people probably look at me a little bit funny during it, but for the most part, I've had pretty good success with that. I will say the other big change for me is noise canceling headphones.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't fly without a pair. So
When I used to fly a lot for work, like my first job, like even before you and I started working together, I was on planes a lot at my first job. And one Christmas, my dad had bought me a pair of Bose noise canceling headphones. This was when noise canceling headphones were still kind of new. This is like early 2000s. Well, mid 2000s. So like 2004, 2005, I guess. I had a nice pair of Bose noise canceling headphones. They were on ear, not over ear, and I wore those on the plane. And maybe that helped me, and I didn't realize it. I love those things until they broke, and then I just couldn't afford to replace them because they were just like really, really expensive, and I didn't make all the money in the world back then, so I couldn't afford to replace them. So for years, I would just fly with my AirPods, or I would fly with shitty headphones, if any headphones at all, or whatever headphones they give you on the plane.
Yeah, that's
And
there's a lot of noise on a plane.
there's a lot of fucking noise on an airplane, turns out. But ever since I've gotten my AirPods Max, I've been using those.
I was going to ask if that's what you're still rocking.
I'm still rocking
in that weird ass case.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, people don't see the case. The case stays in my bag. I take their little panties off in my bag, and then they just come out of the bag and on my head. So, I've really leaned into the Plex app on my phone. So I'll download episodes of TV shows or movies that I want to watch on the plane. A lot of the planes that I'm on are the smaller planes that don't have the in-seat entertainment, but on the longer flights, they do. So that's why I have the special cable for Lightning to 3.5. So I can plug that into that and still use my noise canceling headphones with that. That has also proven to help a lot with this.
Good. Okay.
So I don't know. Like I saw that come through today. I knew I was gonna get close this year. I didn't think I was gonna hit it. That's not the top status, by the way. There is one above this, but like that number is, wow, you'd have to be on a plane like every week to hit that number. And that's not me. And I don't know what next year's gonna bring in terms of travel. But there was a lot of it this year. So yeah, just a really interesting kind of like oxymoronic milestone for me to hit.
Yeah. So what does platinum get you? What are your perks?
The biggest perk will be basically unfettered lounge access. Okay. On the gold tier, I got so many lounge visits depending on where I was flying to. The higher up you are on status, the more likely you are to be upgraded on flights. And I got upgraded a fair amount this year on gold. Like I got upgraded to first class a couple times. I got upgraded to like the comfort seats, which are just like a little more leg room and free drinks. I got that a lot. In fact, it happened twice on this last trip, like on one leg down and one leg back. I got upgraded, which was nice. So that helps. There's also little passive benefits too. Like when you hit platinum, you also get like a special gift where you can take like a credit towards next year's status. Like I think it's like a $500 credit towards next year's status if you want, or there's other things you can pick, like a companion certificate for like a flight somewhere. You also earn more miles faster when you fly with Delta. So there's like the higher you go, the better stuff you get. And then if you ever hit a point where you have flown 1 million miles, and I'm at 135,000 miles. So again, I don't think this is going to happen in my lifetime. Delta has something very special for you if you manage to fly 1 million miles, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all good. I mean, like I said, I try to book Delta when I go anywhere, and then I'm planning a really nice trip to Europe here in the not far future, and we'll fly Delta for that too. So
cool.
All right, switching gears then. Did you see this article that I linked?
I did.
Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the new Windows 365 link.
Mm-hmm.
And this is timely because your boy really wants a Mac Mini.
This is not a Mac Mini.
This is not a Mac Mini. This is Microsoft's solution to a problem that I don't understand.
Yeah, especially when you consider the subscription cost.
Yeah, so what is this? So Microsoft announced this week a $349 computer.
Yeah, yes.
Computer in the absolute loosest sense of a computer.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
here's the wild part for me. First of all, this is not a new concept for two main reasons.
No.
Paul, what is a thin client?
Well, a thin client is, let's say you're a big corporation and it's a giant pain in the butt to manage a fleet of laptops or desktops. So you get a big bunch of servers and you virtualize a bunch of desktops. And then you buy this little box that will connect to that virtual environment that you can plug a keyboard, mouse, monitors into. And they can pretend it's a computer. Well, it is a computer. It's a computer in a closet and or the cloud, and you get a little thin device, and all it does, it can't work on its own. It has to connect to something to do. It's it's Citrix used to be big in this space. VMware still is. Microsoft has their offering, which I guess is this, but they have what is it? Windows 365. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for when people were all in the office, this was a really good way to manage people's desktops because like you said, the real work was happening somewhere else. This was literally just a way to plug a keyboard and mouse into something and give them a desktop that applications ran remotely on. This is even worse because this is literally just something you plug a keyboard and mouse into, and you can't use it at all without a subscription.
Yes. Yes.
Now look. Again, I don't really know if Microsoft intends to market this to like consumers. I really feel like this is kiosk, or like, if you guys were still in office and you had a building full of people, maybe. Because it's really just a web browser, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And like it doesn't, like, you can't install apps locally. Everything happens in the cloud, so like you basically run your life through web browsers and remote apps. It's good for email, it's good for like PowerPoint, I guess. But yeah, everything sort of runs remote from your computer. And what's really, really funny to me is they tout all these features that this thing has, but a lot of it requires you to plug like other stuff into it. Like a biometric thing, that's a dongle.
Yeah.
Basically there's a bunch of attachments you have to plug into this thing to make it functional for a lot of those use cases.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the subscription thing is one thing, but did Microsoft forget that like Chromebooks are a thing?
Maybe this is
because this is like worse than a Chromebook. Like Chromebooks,
yeah, at least you can throw
like
that in your
Chromebooks,
bag
you
and
get
take
like
it
a
with you.
keyboard and a monitor, right?
Yeah, yeah, and they do work offline, just poorly, but they do work offline. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, this feels like something Microsoft will do for a couple of years and will silently discontinue, and everybody will just shrug and go, "Eh, yeah." Maybe pre-COVID. I mean, I guess a bunch of places are going to return to work and whatnot, but I'd have to imagine that the customers that they're going after already have a solution for this. So I don't know. I mean, good on them and trying.
Well,
but,
so
yeah.
The other aspect of this that I saw mentioned is this is Microsoft's sort of attempt to reduce surface attack area for like,
Okay.
you're not going to be able to install apps locally. You're not going to be able to run anything locally. So, it's not like you can download a rogue Chipotle gift card.exe from like a phishing attempt email and do something with it, right?
Yeah.
So it reduces like your physical attack space for people who are using actual clients. I guess. And the article that we link in the show notes basically says that right now this is definitely not targeted to consumers, but they're kind of kicking around the idea. I don't know why you would ever recommend this, but the other reason I wanted to get this on the agenda for tonight was I saw this announcement, and the headlines about this thing made me very angry. Okay. There was one headline in particular that's like Microsoft launches mini PC, dash
Oh.
with power button in right place.
Oh, come on.
And I'm like, fuck
off.
off. Yeah.
Oh, fuck
Because
all the way
everybody's
off.
like dogging Apple for putting the power button on the bottom of the Mac Mini. And I was like, well, why would you ever turn a Mac Mini off, I guess?
Exactly. Yeah. And also considering that most people are going to buy that with an Apple keyboard, and you're going to be able to turn it on from the keyboard, like, because it's a power, but even over Bluetooth, like it works. So yeah, fuck that. So yeah.
The headlines made me very angry. This was like the least offensive headline and probably the most like neutral article on it that I could find, and it was from ours. So yeah, that's a bold choice, man.
Yeah, I just hope they don't. I hope this doesn't become a consumer product. I think it's going to be very confusing for people. Like, what do you mean my computer's not my computer? My computer's in the cloud.
Yeah.
What do you mean I have to pay $31 a month to use my computer? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
The other thing that's happening is Microsoft is kind of sick of being nice and telling people like, "Hey, stop using Windows 10." Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, so there was a new Microsoft update out that's basically nagging people to upgrade to Windows 11.
Yeah, I mean, if it was good, if it was something people wanted to upgrade to, people would upgrade to it. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I tolerate it, but then again, like that's not my primary work machine anymore.
Right,
so,
right.
Like it has one job, and that's to feed me Call of Duty. It's like the only thing it does.
Has that fancy sound come out yet?
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
Stay tuned, because when it does happen, I will absolutely buy that.
Okay. All right.
Report back.
I can't wait for that in particular.
Yeah, that's gonna be funny. We need that. I need that for my work. Okay, switching gears yet again.
Okay.
As I am wont to do, I have started watching an older show that I can't stop watching.
Okay.
The show is True Detective. Have you watched it?
I've watched the first season.
Okay. I love this show.
Okay.
Did you sound like you weren't impressed.
It was fine. I enjoyed it. I watched the first season was fine, but when the second season came out, I kind of just lost track of it. And now I'm like, yeah, I got other things to watch.
Yeah, so I was, again, I sort of started seeing clips of this show on TikTok, like, because those weird, they always do something weird too, where like they'll put a line through it, so maybe it tries to throw off the detection. It's like, they're basically feeding you copyrighted content through TikTok.
Yeah.
And I started seeing clips for True Detective. Now, I was aware of True Detective. I knew what it was, and I know that the first season stars Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. That was about the extent of it that I knew. So when I started getting force-fed clips on this, I'm like, you know what? Next time I'm at Half Price Books, if I see it, I'll get it and I'll watch it. So I did, and once I started watching it, I was immediately sucked in. I didn't know the premise, other than, I know that these guys were some sort of cops. I really liked the first season. We won't talk about spoilers here, not yet, but I watched the entire first season pretty quickly. It's only like 9 episodes. It's not a very long series by any means. Absolutely outstanding cast. I mean, I know people like to dog on Matthew McConaughey for the way he talks and everything, but it really fit his character in that first season.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson, to me, was the real star of the first season. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Very, very freaky, very twisted. Just a really good kind of whodunit type of thing. So then I was like, wow, that was really good. Let me go get the other seasons of True Detective. Now, I think there's technically 5 seasons of it out there.
Okay.
I know there's at least 4. I don't know what's going on with season 4 and season 5. They seem a little disjointed, and I can't find them to buy them.
Oh.
And I don't have Max, right? So, I mean, it was an HBO show.
It was. It's on Max.
Yeah, it's on Max, and I don't have Max, so I'm buying DVDs and Blu-rays and putting them on my media player. Season 2 has Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn, which again I had no idea because I only ever knew Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson from this show, so I didn't know that they were in it. And then season 3 has some people that I don't know as well, and I haven't made it to season 3 yet. I'm about 2 or 3 episodes deep in season 2, and it's also very good. So I'm here to say, if you're looking for something new to watch, or you've never seen this show, you should definitely give it a watch.
Okay.
I think, and my wife is into like, murder porn podcasts and everything, so I think she would totally dig this show. I'll tell you, it gets weird towards the end of season 1, but yeah, great show. I mean, you sound like you liked it, but you just didn't watch the other seasons.
Yeah, maybe I'll put that on the list too. So yeah, keep giving me shit to watch. So I need less.
Oh yeah, what else? What else are people trying to get you?
What did I just get? I got recommended. Shit. Something on Apple TV Plus. Hold on.
Slow Horses?
No, not Slow Horse. Shrinking.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, apparently it's a dark comedy, and I do enjoy dark comedies. So
yeah, we do like dark comedy around here.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but I got to finish The Wire before I take on anything new. So
yeah. By the way, you upset at least 2 of our listeners with your take on season 4.
I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. I mean, maybe it's one of those, if you watch the show season over and over again, it gets better. But I'm sticking with it. Season 4 was not what I wanted out of The Wire after the first 3 seasons. It felt like a different show.
Okay. Have you started season 5?
I've watched a single episode.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, it's well, I don't know, because I guess that the theme of that first episode is budget cuts. So
yeah,
and I can't keep track of anybody in that fucking newspaper.
It gets better.
Yeah,
I mean, the most important people are Alma, Scott, and Gus. Those are the most important people.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I'm excited about this because this is vaguely on my radar.
Oh, this next topic. Okay, so tell me what this is, Paul.
Well, you have it's a Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Yep. Okay, it's spelled is it spelled differently than how I'm used to seeing it? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe. I did have no idea Stalker 1 existed. But
well, this is technically Stalker 4. I'll get there. But.
I know it's made by a relatively smaller studio. And it's a first person kind of like open world shooter. It runs really well on the ROG Ally X, which is kind of why it's on my radar. But I really haven't dug into it too much, just outside of watching like a few little clips, and the graphics do look really good. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on this is, and tell me a little bit more about the meat of the game here.
So first and foremost, I was originally drawn to this game because the original Stalker, and this is now the 4th game in the series. This is a series of games that have been around since 2007. And the whole premise is it is a first-person shooter that blends FPS elements, some role-playing elements, survival, and horror all in one game.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. The first Stalker game, Shadow of Chernobyl, came out in 2007. And it is widely regarded as a cult classic of a game because when the game came out, it was broken. Like it did not work. Okay.
Nothing but jank. Yeah.
But there's a series of people out there, and I'm one of them, that is totally into the theme of this game. And as the name implies, you are a person who is exploring this special zone around Chernobyl and Pripyat in, Belarus and the Ukraine. So it's got this very, very drab Eastern European decay vibe. It's got, Soviet bloc military equipment and vehicles and accents, and The translation was real rough in the first one. And there's factions and there's these like magical artifacts that you pick up that either help you or hurt you. And you sort of have to figure that out without killing yourself. There's some puzzles. There's some really interesting enemies and some really interesting trap and puzzle design. Very good game, but it was broken.
Okay.
Now, you can play this game today. And in fact, I would argue that the first Stalker game, Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, is still a very good game to play right now. You can find it on Steam. You can find it very cheap on Good Old Games. There are fan-made patches that not only fix the game, but offer a lot of quality of life stuff. They basically picked up where the developers have left off and really turned this into something special. Graphical enhancements, shader enhancements, sound improvements. It's still a really good game to play. Now, what you have to understand is one of the hallmarks of this game and this entire game series is jank. Okay. Like it is endearing jank is the best way that I would describe it.
Some people like that. Yeah.
And look, if you've ever played a Bethesda game, you're in for a lot of that here.
Yeah,
like there's some shit that just doesn't work right. Okay. Now, I will tell you that one of the frustrating things about these series of games is it's very easy, either due to a bug or maybe you don't do something in exactly the right order, you might lock yourself out of the main quest.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was part of the jank of the first couple games in the series. I heard that there are some bugs in Stalker 2 right now, the latest release, where that is still a thing, but the developer's very focused on, fixing that. There's already been a couple like small patches that have addressed some of those things, but that's just like, and one of the things, like the AI in the game just sometimes makes very weird decisions. So one of the hallmarks of the game is there's all these different factions, and you can like do missions for one that piss off the other, and you sort of become affiliated with one of them, and that drives with like, the equipment you get and how you approach certain tactics and puzzles and all this other stuff. But sometimes the game's just like, you know what? I don't think this faction likes you anymore for no reason. And you'll be in the middle of a mission with your buddies, and like all of a sudden they'll just start shooting you for no reason. Like it's what you're in for. So save early, save often. That's just table stakes for playing this series of games. So Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl came out in 2007. Critically, it got positive reviews. People were super into the theme. There's Chernobyl files like me who like the setting. It was a really intriguing story that talked about this thing called the monolith and talked about like, the Wish Granter and the Brain Scrambler. And there's all these like really cool things. And even when the game gets super janky, it is still an extremely compelling sandbox. Like you can just go into that. It's a huge place to explore. You can just walk around and get in fights or help people or hurt people or go hunting for artifacts. Like you could just get lost in the theme. And I would say that of all the games that exist in this sort of genre, the theming in this series of game is just phenomenal. So then in 2008, they do a sequel, and it's called S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Again, much like the launch of the first game, it was broken.
Okay.
The fans got their hands on it. The developer still contributed. They fixed it. It got better. Then in 2009, they do S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Call of Pripyat. And compared to the other two launches, it was good. But I think of all the games that came out, it's hard. People are kind of split on which one is the worst game, Clear Sky or Call of Pripyat. I liked Call of Pripyat better than Clear Sky. I don't think I ever finished Clear Sky. I think the game broke on me and I gave up. But I finished Shadow of Chernobyl. I don't think I finished Clear Sky. I did finish Call of Pripyat. And they're very good games. Like once you learn how the systems actually work, and it's one of those things because it is a survival horror game. Like you have a lot of stuff you sort of have to monitor. It's a very hardcore game. And I think, if you set your expectations accordingly and you play it a little bit slower, like you don't play it like a classic FPS and you really approach it as wow, I could literally die if I step in the wrong place and absorb a bunch of radiation, or this dog bites me, or this psychic warrior decides to make me black out so I can't see anything and then I step in the trap that kills me. Like there's all sorts of things that sort of happen there. Very atmospheric, very, very, very good games. So now here we are in the year of our Lord 2024, and it's S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, Heart of Chernobyl. So the first 3 games were built on a proprietary engine that was made by the developers, which is GSC Game World. And this is a Ukrainian development house, which, I don't know how good you are at world events, but these developers, like the developer diaries are like, we would have been done sooner, but a lot of us had to like take some time off and, kill Russians and then come back and finish developing our video game. So
priorities.
There is that. So it was what was the name of the engine? Oh, the X-Ray engine. So the X-Ray engine is what they used to build the first 3 games. When they started working on S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, they originally were developing it in the X-Ray engine. And this was back in like 2020, I think, 2021. And it was on track. But then they were like, you know what? We know how janky this engine can be. We know that like maybe this has outlived its usefulness. We're just gonna stop and we're gonna port it over to the newest Unreal Engine. So the new game is built on the latest version of the Unreal Engine. And Paul, I got to tell you, I fired this bad boy up yesterday. It looks really, really fucking good. It looks really good. Water effects, the ray tracing, everything in there. Kind of like how Cyberpunk was a milestone game for graphical fidelity.
Yeah.
This is right up there. Like I can't run this on the highest settings on my computer. I can't.
Okay.
I can't. And I got a pretty good computer. We were just talking about computer upgrades last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my computer, I can't run epic quality. I can run high quality and I can consistently stay above 60 frames with everything turned, like all the detail stuff turned on. It's a very, very good, very, very good looking game. I haven't run across too much jank yet, if anything. The tutorial, like I've played enough S.T.A.L.K.E.R games to know how these things work. But I could see how somebody who's never played a S.T.A.L.K.E.R game before might be a little intimidated when you first sort of like start doing the tutorial part of the game.
Okay.
But it's very, very good so far. I'm about 3 hours in. I finished the tutorial part. I started kind of walking around and doing some things. There's still some things I'm learning, some things that they've changed. I think a lot of people were worried about, maybe them potentially dumbing the game down a little bit, as opposed to the hardcore nature of the first 3 games. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. You can't just run around like it's Call of Duty. You have to be very intentional. You have to be able to pick up on environmental cues when you're taking radiation damage or when you're bleeding or when you're hungry or when there's an invisible monster who's sneaking up on you. Like you have to, and you really have to kind of like keep your wits about you. So if you're going to play this game, first of all, the first thing I would say is you have to play this game with headphones. Have to.
Okay.
You have to be situationally aware of everything that's happening around you at the same time, whether it's your Geiger counter subtly clicking or, things going bump in the night, which nighttime in this game is terrifying. It is not fun to play this in your dark basement by yourself. It doesn't do cheap jump scares. It doesn't do that. It just genuinely builds tension because there are so many things in this game that could kill you. If you have any interest in this at all, you should absolutely play it. You should absolutely play it. It's free on Game Pass, which is how I'm playing it. But even if I didn't have Game Pass, I would absolutely bought this game. It's getting very, very positive reviews. And the reviews are generally acknowledging what I said, right? Like there is a little bit of jank. Just be aware of it. Like quick save all the time. Like, you have to be very intentional about what you fight and what you don't fight. The fact that there is like this very, very clockwork, very, very handcrafted, very, very large world, by the way, like just massive game world to explore. It's one of those things where you can be walking and there'll be a checkpoint. Like this happened to me today. So I'm walking around and I had just finished like kind of the beginning of the game. I sort of did the required stuff and there was like a fight that you kind of had to do because like the game was trying to teach you something. And I happened upon this checkpoint and it's a faction that I hadn't met before. And I wasn't sure what would happen if I approached the checkpoint, like with my guns put away and like tried to like walk past the checkpoint. Like I played enough of these games to know that it's probably not that straightforward. And I looked around and there wasn't a lot of places to sneak by anything. So I'm kind of sitting there contemplating my choices and if I should turn around and go a different direction because I don't have I didn't have a lot of ammunition to fight these guys. So I was like, I probably shouldn't go this way. So as I'm like making up my mind, all of a sudden they start shooting, but not at me. They start shooting at a pack of wild dogs that rushes them. And these dogs absolutely destroy these guys. There's like, at the end of it, there's like 2 dogs left. And I'm like, I have like 6 bullets. Maybe I can kill these 2 dogs. I killed one of the dogs. And then I had to like start running away. But that's the kind of stuff that can just happen when you're just kind of casually observing the things that happen in this game. So I don't know if you're going to play this game. I think you would like it.
Okay.
But I just tell people, like, just be prepared for a very, very like borderline simulation, hardcore shooter, survival horror type game. And as long as you know that and you play the game like that, you'll have a good time.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah. Oh God, it looks so good. Like it looks every bit as good as Cyberpunk. And like the effects and like the anomalies, as they call them, and like how they like fling you around, basically will just fling you around if you're not careful, are really kind of startling. So I don't know, what would you like? Could you play it on your Ally with the Xbox thing? Like, could you put the Xbox thing on your ROG Ally X and get it that way?
Yeah. If I resubscribe to Game Pass.
Yeah, I just was curious because I know, like, I think there is technically a way you can do that on your Steam Deck, but I don't know.
In fact, if you buy an ROG LAX, they give you a month free of Game Pass.
Oh.
So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's boy, it's something, man. I mean, it was worth the wait, in my opinion. They're the first couple games are definitely like cult status. They really are. But yeah, no, I'm really happy that they were able to finish the game, given all the general unpleasantness that the developer had to go through. But it's a really good game so far. I'm enjoying it. There are a lot of really cheesy, stupid ways to die, but those are the kind of lessons you only need to learn once. And yeah, it's a good game. Good game so far. Really enjoying it.
Cool.
What do you play? You still playing Diablo 4?
I kind of yes. I'm back to playing Diablo 4. I kind of recommitted to that today. I've been so I got I purchased and received a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah. So I've kind of just been sampling some games, like going back and like I restarted. I played like, I don't know, maybe 10 hours of the Horizon Zero Dawn remake that is PS5 Pro enhanced. I dug back out my save of Dragon's Dogma 2. Talk about a game with jank. That game is all jank all the time.
I didn't like those games. I didn't like those games at all.
Yeah. I played maybe like 40 hours of the first one, never finished it. I do like the second one. It's just like I have to be in a particular mood because like it's very much like, okay, I have a quest that's over there and I don't have a way to fast travel to that, so I'm gonna spend the next 6 hours walking in that direction. It's fine. Then yeah, I've kind of just like admitted to myself that I should just be playing Diablo 4, and that's what I'm doing. So I started a new character today. So yeah. Still Diablo 4. I'm still hooked. Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, how, like, what do you think? Was the PS5 Pro worth it? Was it worth the upgrade? Okay.
I mean, it yes and no. Like, would I've been fine without it? Yeah, probably. Do I notice some stuff? Yes. Yeah, it is better. Even games that aren't PS5 Pro enhanced technically are taking, because most games are developed on PCs, right? And they're able to take advantage of, if there's a little bit more memory bandwidth, they can get some more frames and less drops, and it is getting better. And PS4 games apparently run better as well. I mean, it's $700, and plus I bought the disc drive and the stand for it because I'm stupid. So I spent like $800 on this thing. Really, time out the door. Yeah. It's fine. Maybe in 6 months there'll be more games out for it, and I'll be able to take more advantage of hardware. But
Paul, I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
Can I buy your old PlayStation 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I haven't touched a PlayStation in a while.
Okay.
And maybe I want to try a couple things.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll spend some time this weekend getting it all reset and back to factory, clean it up a little bit. Now I do have to ask you, do you want the original white plates on it, or do you want the purple plates, or you just want both? You want both? You can have both.
Ooh. I mean, I do like playing dress up. What are the purple plates? Tell me about these purple plates. I didn't even know.
I bought plates for it that made my PlayStation purple. The game from PlayStation.
PlayStation 5 purple plates.
Yeah. I bought them, and they don't work on the Pro
wait a
because
minute.
they're different. Yeah, they're purple.
Okay. PS5 cover plates. PlayStation 5 console covers.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So you got purple.
Purple. Yeah. They're
It looks like there's urban camo, light blue, pink, red, purple, and black. And you got purple.
I got purple. Yeah. I got purple.
Did you get the matching controller cover?
I did buy a purple controller too. You're not getting that.
Okay. Well, you have to buy the whole controller. Like you can't just swap the
No,
color?
you have to buy a whole controller. Yeah.
Oh, lame. Okay, yeah, I don't want that. You know what? Put the white one on it.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
You know,
Okay.
I like white appliances.
Okay. I think I have the box somewhere too in the basement too. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does it have a disk drive or no?
Yeah, it has a disk drive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you know what I really want to play? I really want to play the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I want to be able to play all of it.
Okay.
And I don't want to wait for it to come to the computer.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe one of the MLB games. I don't know. I've been wanting to try a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
I've flirted with the idea of doing it. God damn it! I mean, if this helps you recoup some of your costs for your fancy PlayStation Pro, buddy, I'm here to help.
Yeah, I'll give it to you for a sweetheart deal too. So.
Well, you are a sweetheart, so that all tracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, are there any games coming out for it that you're excited to see on there?
I really haven't paid a lot of attention to what is coming out. The PS5. Let's see what's on the horizon. Let's see what's on the horizon here. Okay, those games are already out. Google, you failed. Upcoming games, PS5. IGN's got me. Let's see. Anything good? No. That game's already out. Fucking idiots. Meh. I'm sure something will come out and I'll be excited about it, but I don't know. Until then, I've got demons to slay, so I'm gonna continue to do that.
Fair enough.
I do like killing demons. So
I really should get back into that game. But between Stalker 2 and Call of Duty, I'm covered for a little bit here.
Yeah.
I really want to play the new Flight Simulator as well, but apparently they crashed the database.
I saw that they didn't anticipate so many. Apparently it's woke, so people are review bombing it, which I don't understand. So
are the airplanes are gay? I don't know.
Oh no, I could not figure that out. But
I love those big dummies that get upset about that stuff.
Yeah.
Because like those are the kind of people that honk in traffic and like just
the games don't have the planes don't have boobs.
Yeah. I can't buy revealing outfits for my fucking Airbus Beluga.
Yeah, exactly. People are dumb. But yeah.
I am anxious to play that too. I am.
Okay.
Whenever they upgrade their SQL server or whatever they use for the database, I don't know.
They just need to scale up their instance in Azure.
Something.
I'm pretty sure they can afford it.
Fuck yeah, you're not kidding.
Oh,
I mean, I guess it depends on how many of those 365 Link PCs they sell.
Exactly.
All right, get us out of here before this turns into like a Microsoft Bash Fest.
We're on the internet, doingtheirbest.com. We're on BlueSky now. It's at doingtheirbest.com, just like the website. So you don't have to remember that, I guess. You can find show notes, all the links, and
hey, not for nothing. Credit where credit's due. You got the website all updated with our BlueSky handles. You got that done quick, bro.
I did. I fixed them because I realized since you had changed your handle, none of the BlueSky links worked. So I fixed all that, and yeah, I got everything updated. And there's one bug that I don't like, but I'll fix it later. So
okay.
But yeah, I even updated it, so it's no longer Twitter buttons, it's X. So for the
Ooh.
yeah, because I try to, when there's a co-host, where I try to put their information on the page, including links, and John Kruger's only on X, I think. But if you hover over the X button, it doesn't look right. I'll fix it later. But yeah,
Oh,
everything
I
goes
mean,
through
I would have
X.
never known, but now
Yeah,
I can't unsee it.
yeah, yeah. It's gotta find an episode with John Kruger, go to that episode and hover over the the X link, and you'll see what I mean. But yeah. Hey, thanks for listening.